reclaim our police. Let's do what they should do. I mean, have you ever seen a policeman sort of get a robber in a rainbow car? I mean, it's just ludicrous. Can police do what they're supposed to do, which is police? I'm so sick of this policing, political policing. They shouldn't have any ideology or favour anyone or anything. They're supposed to be police. Do what you're supposed to do. That's what's wrong. We need to reclaim the police.
Yeah. What do you think, Leah? Rainbow laces, face paint.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, it's the police, it's not the circus. I'd understand all that if we were going to see some clowns, but, you know, they're supposed to be driving police cars, not clown cars. I used to work with the police. I was a criminal intelligence analyst, and, you know, in London, you know, after the Macpherson report, obviously, there was the murder of Stephen Lawrence, which exposed sort of institutional racism in the police, and there were issues. That was 25 years ago. I don't think you can say that the police are the same organisation now that they were then. I think a lot of the issues around racism have been fixed, quite frankly, and for them to still be policing according to worrying about looking racist, this is what led to grooming gangs still operating openly and freely in a lot of towns, and you know, hardly any convictions have been brought against them compared to the scale of the problem, because the police are scared of looking racist. And again, with the riots in Leicester between Hindu and Muslim gangs, the police are scared of getting involved because they think if they arrest anyone, they're going to be called racist. It shouldn't matter. If you're not being racist, you shouldn't be worried about being called racist. You should just go in and apply the law fairly and evenly, regardless of what the ethnicity of the person is.
And that's very true, because my friend who was a policeman with those terrible scenes in Leicester said they were afraid because they would be seen as being racist, which is crazy. You arrest the person for the crime, not to do with their colour, creed or whatever. You know, that's what it should be.
Absolutely.
But I think with this is now, these political symbolic gestures have to be stopped, not just in police, but we've got them in sport. You know, we've got it in the NHS, in education, in the military. It really needs to be stopped.
Yeah, I don't know how it's become... It's almost like a runaway train, hasn't it? I mean, people are so frightened of saying the wrong thing. If you say that, then somebody's going to think you're racist. And the worst insult you could ever be given is that you're called racist. Yeah. So it's almost so I'd better not do that just in case. And the worst thing about that is you compromise your position by believing that, OK, I don't want to be called racist, so I'm not going to say.
Exactly, which is what the police have been doing. And you can imagine if the rioters in Leicester were white football fans, the police would have no problem at all going in there and applying the law and, you know, hitting some people with truncheons. They'd have no problem with that. And the trouble with equality, diversity and inclusion is it's baked into every organisation. It's not just the police. It's not just people being worried about being called racist. If you're called racist, that's now an HR issue. And so, you know, every organisation has equality, diversity and inclusion departments which can make your life an absolute misery and can fire you, and everybody's walking on eggshells to not fall on the wrong side of it.
But police have got to get grip of knife crime. I mean, it's gone up 16%. It is absolute. I mean, it is so scary in London now. I mean, my sons are scared to go home on their own. You know, it really is. They need to get a grip and police properly. And it really makes me cross when I see them dancing, you know, and having the rainbow masks on and on their cars. I mean, what is this about? What are we trying to do?
But you know, like
this
a lot of
ideology has to stop, you know.
The officers, I mean, and as I said at the beginning, the police, for me, have been excellent. I haven't experienced any awful behaviour from them, and I may think differently if that was the case. But I think it's time that we stopped going on, no, there's structural racism, institutional racism, and I think we start to get people to be accountable for their individual actions. Because if I do something racist, it's me being racist. It's not the organisation around me. If nobody says anything about my racism, then those who are around me are also culpable of the racism. It's not a structure. The building itself and the rules themselves are not racist because there are rules against it. It is the people that are actually perpetrating the racism who are the racists, who need to be outed out, pulled out of that and thrown out of the force. It's individuals need to be called to account, and I think that's the issue.
But Nana, I'm glad you brought it up at the state funeral. The police were impeccable.
Amazing.
I mean, absolutely amazing. But I'm afraid to say, I, for one, have lost faith in the police. I had an incident with a stalker, and because I rang with the complaint about it from a different area, they were saying, well, this isn't your area, and it all got, you know, didn't get sorted. And in the end, I thought, oh, gosh, what's the point?
Well, I think there's a lot of paperwork, though, and there's a lot of restrictions and a lot of, I mean, all the police stations have vanished. And so that's why I said that really I respect what Suella is saying. She's right. But I think the reason the focus has shifted is because all their resources have shifted. So they have got literally nothing to do the jobs that they need to be doing with. So it's all very well saying to them, oh, we're going to focus, get rid of diversity, inclusion, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. But if you don't give them the funding, if you don't give them the support they need, then what you're asking them to do is actually impossible.
Yeah.
Well, I hope what she says is true of this new Home Secretary, because Priti Patel didn't seem to do anything that she said was going to happen, never seemed to happen.
Well, she did her best.
She did her best, maybe. Well, Rwanda, I don't know if the plane's taken off yet, but
no.
I really do hope she means this and there's action taken.